welcome to Telling the Tale. I'm your host, Mitchell Farley Wolf, and with me today, as always, is other host, Dustin Jackson.
I got a brand new chair. Well, it's not brand new, it was my parents' old chair, but it's much more comfortable to record in.
I'm so jealous. The chair I'm in right now is not comfortable to record in, nor has it ever been the whole time we've done this show.
Oh shit, some Telling the Tale lore. Mitchell's never been comfortable.
I've never, that's some strong lore right there. I've never been comfortable the whole time we've done the show.
People aren't going to be able to look at this show in the same light anymore.
My chairs are both, I have two chairs in my bedroom, and they're both trash tier chairs. I'm in them for over 8 hours a day doing work and other things on one desk or another. I have two desks in my room. They're both accompanied by chairs that don't work.
I'm so sorry, Mitchell. That sucks. I just got this chair from my parents who were trying to get rid of it.
Nice. That's good.
Yeah.
So this is the show where we go through every single one of the episodic Telltale video game releases that company put out. And today we're going to be covering Minecraft Story Mode Season 1, Episode 5. Order up! It's got an exclamation point at the end, so it has to be Order up!
Order up!
It was released on March 29th, 2016, directed by Jonathan Stauder, designed by Molly Maloney, Brian Freyermuth, Stephen McManus, and Grady Standard, and written by Eric Stirp and Timothy Williams. So, interesting thing to note there. Well, two things I want to talk about. Just in that about section that we give it. The release date. That's 3 months later.
That's a long time, and I think if I were playing this 3 months after the last episode, maybe it would feel a little... I don't want to say better, because I did enjoy this episode. I'll just say straight up here, I think this is probably the most interesting episode of the season so far.
Yeah, it's my favorite one.
But, it feels like a lot of time has passed here. And we would have felt that a little more if we weren't playing it right after the last one. So
it does feel like this time... Yeah, okay. So to recap the release dates, one of them happened... Episode 1 happened in early to mid-October. Mm-hmm. Episode 2 happened in late October. Episode 3 happened in November. Episode 4 happened in December. All four of the main episodes of this season, the Witherstorm arc, if you will, mm-hmm. happened in the last 3 months of 2015. Very short amount of time.
Yeah. They fit them all in right at the end there.
And then this one came out over 3 months after episode 4.
Crazy. I mean, it makes complete sense given what happens in the episode.
Yeah, very clearly separated from the other episodes in the season into its own little deal. But, boy howdy, let me tell you, this is the start of a second arc of the show. Of the game.
Yeah, definitely. We were saying, last week, we were wouldn't it be weird if they just, started... Like if the Adventure Pass just continued from there and this was all one big story. Turns out that is the case. I didn't think that was going to be the case. I thought it was just off in hypothetical land, but that's exactly how it's playing out.
Yeah, it is. It does feel like a fairly strong one-off that just at the very end of it kind of kicks off what I anticipate is going to be more of a cohesive 3-episode arc.
Yeah.
But it is part of the second arc of the game.
Yeah, it's still starting it out.
It's starting it out.
Yeah, I was pretty surprised. Even though this episode's story is pretty self-contained, near the end of this episode, I was thinking oh, this is going... I'm already in the last act. Is this just gonna not wrap up this episode? Is this gonna be what the whole season's about? And turns out not really, but it still kicks things off.
Yes, but no, right? Okay, yeah. So that was the first thing I wanted to talk about, the release date. The other thing was the writer Eric Stirp, who you told me something about between this recording and the last time we got it on the horn.
Yeah.
Do you want to bring this up for the audience? Bring us up to date, up to speed with this new information?
So I was talking with a friend of mine, he is much more into Minecraft story mode than I am, even though I don't dislike it. But he's like really looking it up, looking into development on it. So you remember how last episode Reuben was no more. Reuben was a deceased pig.
How could I forget?
Right.
He poofed into a slice of pork in the funniest way possible.
Right. So it turns out there was actually plans to revert that for the Netflix version of Minecraft Story Mode Season 1. Reuben was going to survive. But
That's
then
so wild.
Isn't that just crazy to think about?
Mm-hmm.
We could have been living in an alternate reality where Reuben just said, "Hey, no, I'm alive."
Yeah, but instead we're just living in this
He's
goddamn dead pig reality.
I think it's pretty good so far, to be honest.
So when you said that at first, I was thinking, yeah, they'd have to like reanimate and rewrite the whole end of the episode. They'd have to replace some scenes with new scenes, probably. But now I'm realizing it's not just that. They have to do the at least this episode as well, at least episode 5 as well. And probably the adventure pass, because they got to put Reuben there and just say he's there the whole time.
He was there the whole time.
Or at least add a line to say, yeah, he's at my house. We left him at home.
He's just off screen the whole time.
And season 2, probably.
Yeah.
Unless you're going to kill him at the end of the adventure pass. Like, oh, you were always going to kill him, just later.
We were just delaying the inevitable.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? I feel for Eric Sturp here, because so what you told me about him individually is that like he's on most of these episodes. He just wasn't on this last one.
And that's when they decided to kill Reuben, and he was very upset about it.
Yeah. I guess Reuben was an important aspect of the story to him.
Yeah, specifically to him.
Yeah, not to the rest of Telltale. Really
Get
not.
this pig out of here.
What's more insulting about it to me is that in episode 1 of this game, I called my posse, which at the time was just Jesse, Olivia, and Axel. I called them the Order of the Pig. I knew that we were naming ourselves after Reuben, day 1. And now that Reuben's passed, and it makes so much more sense to say that about ourselves, we're the Order of the Pig. Now they call us the Order of the Stone, because we're the new Order of the Stone.
Right. You don't even get to be the Order of the Pig anymore.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what name you chose, you are now the Order of the Stone. Full out.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. You know what? I genuinely feel weird jumping into the second arc of a Telltale game right after the first. Even though it's the same season. This is episodes 1 to 4 and episodes 4 to 8 of season 1 of Minecraft Story Mode. Let's just say, let's put our gauntlet in the sand. That's mixing metaphors. But let's sand up that gauntlet and just declare this is 2 seasons.
Yeah, it's weird to say like, oh no, we're not at season 2 yet. This just is a second season of Minecraft. Like It starts out like some time has passed. You know, they're the Order of the Stone now. This is a second season of Minecraft.
Totally is.
It's weird. It's weird the way they decided to do it.
Toe to tip, that's a second season of Minecraft. So, I don't know. When last week we spoke.
Right.
And we talked about the bold stylistic choices of having this be the structure. I listened back to the episode just to remind myself of what we thought about it. Because after this episode, I feel completely differently. And I think you were saying that if you were buying these episodes at the time, you would be sort of upset that your 5 episodes that you paid for don't culminate and you have to buy DLC to see the end of it.
A little bit. Just because, like, it feels like it's kind of stringing you along to buy more than you already bought.
Yep, definitely.
I don't think it's like awful. I'm not like over here fuming about it, but it is weird. It is kind of like, oh well, you got a little taste, but now you gotta pay more to see how this story plays out.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's something interesting that I've been thinking about because Telltale is going to put out The Expanse this year. Oh, news update. I guess we should talk about it on the show. The Wolf Among Us 2, not coming out this year anymore.
Ooh. Ba, 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 ba.
I felt like that was fine. I was talking with some people in our like shared server where we talk about some Telltale stuff, but they were actually disappointed about this. And I can see that. I understand wanting it, and it's just gonna take longer for it to come out. But for me, the idea that they're launching The Expanse sometime in the middle of this year, that would mean that The Wolf Among Us 2 is gonna start sometime probably during the release of The Expanse. And I didn't want to do two at once ever. So I'm cool with it.
Yeah, as someone who has to play all these for a podcast, I'm cool with it. But if I didn't have to, I would be upset that I didn't get to play Wolf Among Us 2. Or maybe I wouldn't, because if I wasn't doing this podcast, I might not have played Wolf Among Us yet.
Yeah, you have just enough time to squeak by and play Wolf Among Us 2 first, now that it's been delayed out of the year.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, I guess it's interesting because most of the people that we were talking to are excited about Wolf Among Us 2, and frankly, just to call it like how it is, do not give much of a rat's ass about The Expanse.
Yeah, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't in that group.
Okay, because to me they feel about the same.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I could see that for you.
Yeah, I think part of it is that The Wolf Among Us 1 didn't... I don't think it grabbed me as much as like The Walking Dead did, or frankly, even as much as Tales from the Borderlands did. I liked Tales from the Borderlands maybe more than The Wolf Among Us.
I would definitely put it above The Wolf Among Us. But I still really enjoy The Wolf Among Us. I like the world it sets up.
Yeah, I liked it a lot too, but it also felt it felt complete enough for me. I wasn't waiting for a Wolf Among Us 2.
Right.
Well, I guess I to be fair, I only got around to finishing it here on the podcast after we already knew that the sequel was coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to be more or less excited about a Telltale game to the point where I'm upset about a delay when we are playing one that's new to me every week. So,
exactly.
Yeah, so I wish the team at Telltale and the development studio, I think it's called Ad Hoc. Is that right?
I think so. That sounds right.
Actually, let me look that up too.
Okay.
Wolf Among Us 2. Ad Hoc Studios. Yeah, so Ad Hoc Studios, which are made of a bunch of former Telltale people, are working on the Wolf Among Us 2, and then Deck 9, which is one of the studios that worked on a bunch of those Life is Strange games, are the people working on The Expanse, and Telltale itself is working with both of those studios in some capacity on both of those games.
It's so interesting to think about, since the Telltale that exists now is definitely smaller than it was back then. So I totally forgot that they were getting outside help with them. That's cool. I'm down for that.
Yeah, I think it's more than getting outside help. I think those other studios are the developers in principle, and like Telltale's the outside help.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I was thinking about The Expanse because I realized that it had this issue where people were upset about the delay of Wolf 2. They are not concerned about, any existence of the Expanse.
Yeah.
And, I mean, the way I'm treating these Telltale games is almost interchangeably until I play them, and then like the stronger narrative ones. Because I didn't expect to like Walking Dead. I didn't expect to like Borderlands at all.
Same.
And I did kind of like the idea of Minecraft story mode, and it's been fine. And
it's not bad.
So it could be good, but I was thinking, like, how do you sell this game? Do you only sell it strictly one price for the 5 episodes? That's it? Or do you try to do, like, you get 1 episode for free to get you maybe hooked on the story, and then you buy 2 through 5? How would you do it for a game like The Expanse, which, again, let's just kind of be honest about how we're seeing the demand for it. It has its work cut out for it.
Right.
In marketing.
So how would I do it, you're asking?
Yeah, how would you do it, I'm asking.
I don't know. I do kind of like the idea of episodic games still released like on a monthly basis.
Oh, it's definitely that. I'm asking about like the payment.
Payment for it.
Yeah. So when you like, would you ever do episode 1 is free to get you in the door of something that might be, let's say it's $30 for the whole season.
Okay.
I don't know how much it's going to be. That actually would be nice if it's $30. I could see it being more. If it's $30 for the whole season of The Expanse, and that's just the pass, what do you think that works? Do you think that's good for marketing, for getting people interested in it?
I think so. Because some people will play that first free episode and then just not touch any of the rest.
Right. Yeah.
But if you just charge for all of them up front, even if someone like plays the first episode and doesn't like it, then they still paid for the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I feel like there's more risk to letting you try it first.
Yeah. There's a lot of risk to letting you try it in like getting the milk for free and not having to buy the cow.
Right.
But then there's also a lot of risk of no one's going to even drink any milk, and they might like milk a lot if they have to buy the cow.
Yeah, that's tough. I wonder if the benefits to letting someone try it for free first outweighs that worry that they just won't even bother with the rest.
I guess it kind of just depends on if it's really good or not, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, like Walking Dead, I could totally see people saying like, oh, episode 1 ruled. I'm sticking with this.
Oh, episode 1 of Tales from the Borderlands? Are you kidding me? If that was free,
that'd be crazy.
I would have gotten into that a long time ago. And
yeah.
I definitely would have finished that franchise.
Mm-hmm.
I would have finished that series. That season. Yeah, because like it's been the reason there aren't as many demos these days as there used to be in like the 90s. Demos were everywhere. You ordered a pizza, you got some PlayStation demos, is because it was found out that demos actually have a pretty negative effect on the sales of games, like a demonstrably negative effect. The people that like the demos keep replaying the demos, and the people that don't like the demos are certainly not going to play the game.
Man, I miss demo discs, like PS1 demo discs.
PS1 demo discs would be great. Yeah.
But I totally get what you're saying. That makes perfect sense that it would deter someone from playing the rest.
Deter.
That's probably not how it's pronounced. Is it deter?
It is.
I like deter.
I know, me too. Yeah. I was. The asshole in me was forced to point it out, but I really wanted you to just keep saying that for the rest of your life.
I would have been so mad if you didn't say something, and I'm like on my deathbed, and I just feel like the stupidest person on the planet.
No.
You're right. You're right there next to me. Your head in a jar with your robot wife, and you say, "Dustin, I have something I have to break to you in your dying minutes. It's actually pronounced deter."
My robot wife would be pretty mad at me for that.
Yeah. No, she's over there like filing her robot nails.
The nails grow? That sucks.
Yeah, well, no, she chooses to. It's just to get her point across that she's bored being here.
I need a new model that doesn't need to file the nails.
Yeah, she and I never got that close. So on my deathbed, she's just
She and I never got that
nails.
close, frankly.
Yeah, honestly. She married you for your money.
Let's talk about the episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. You liked it? I liked it.
I thought it was good. Yeah, I think this is probably the best episode in the season. My main takeaway for this is this was the first episode I played, and I thought, oh, this feels like a story that could only work in Minecraft. Like it's a story that benefits the world better than anything we've seen up to this point.
Yeah, so a lot of the stuff we saw up to this point that made me feel that way were individual in nature. They were like moments, like going to the end, right? The end is that's a specific Minecraft thing. Seeing the Enderman, and then some of that other stuff like the Farlands, right? That was we talked about that in the podcast about how that's like a very interesting quirk of the mechanics of the game Minecraft that they made a story out of. But
and that's very cool.
Yeah.
But like you could replace that with like just going to some like far off land in a generic fantasy story. Like it serves the purpose that you can get out of just other stories similar to this. But this is the first time where I'm like, oh, this is a story that comes out of how Minecraft works, like building being so emphasized as part of the story.
Building is very emphasized here. And what else I like is I just like seeing the major progression we've gotten with the Neo Order of the Stone, the new Jesse's Order of the Stone.
Yeah.
This is cool. I like this. I like any time we were watching some kids just futz around in season 1 and then season 2, they're adults and they've got like their own fan base and stuff. This gives me Dragon Ball vibes. This gives me Reds waiting on top of Mount Silver vibes.
Yeah, everyone loves these guys now.
Yeah, like the episode starts out with Jesse, Axel, Olivia, and Petra, who are weirdly not like the 4 that are based on the Order of the Stone. I think Jesse, if anyone, is Ivor now. Lucas seems to be Soren.
Yeah, that's true. We talked about that last time. There's similarities.
And Petra is wearing the blue warrior armor like Gabriel.
From Gabriel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of like that. I like that. It's not just making Jesse into the main one, the main guy. Like they're not saying, "Oh yeah, well obviously Jesse is the Gabriel of the group."
Well, yeah, it's interesting that you say that because I do think they kind of made Jesse into the main one.
Well, no, he is the main one, but like you said,
like in more of a way than Gabriel ever was himself.
Right? No, I'm not saying like they didn't not make Jesse the main character. I just mean like how Petra is more filling the Gabriel role as the warrior.
Yeah. And we see some interesting, like, you can contrast the modern order with the old order and see how the old order is just they're cheaters and frauds in every sense of the word. Gabriel, at least we get the sense, is a good person. Eligard and Magnus were probably trying to be good people as well. We didn't see as much of them.
Right.
But like Soren is not a good person and Ivor is not a good person. Even if Ivor is like, they try to Snape him and they do it exactly like Snape. And the problem with doing it like Snape is that Snape did not successfully redeem himself. The author just thought that he did.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is not that kind of podcast. But like Olivia is very talented with building very useful stuff. And everything we saw Eligard build was like fanciful and like worked technically, but was not practical and did not get use.
Right. Yeah, she never really makes anything that really benefits them in the whole story.
Yeah, and Gabriel was this big warrior, but it turned out that like all of his triumphs were tool assisted, so it didn't matter. Whereas Petra is actually very good at fighting. And where Lucas and Soren both have these issues with confidence and fear, Lucas is able to rise above it while Soren is defeated by it.
Man, he just ran off.
Yeah, and I actually don't really know how I'm connecting Ivor and Jesse, except to say that Jesse is like the empty slate good person to fit yourself into, and Ivor is the empty slate just evil guy that hangs around in this episode for reasons that are unfathomable.
This is probably my favorite Ivor episode, though. I like seeing him like really excited about all this stupid shit.
Yeah, so like the gist of the beginning part of this episode is that Ivor has tipped off the New Order that there is some very interesting treasure in a very interesting temple some out there in over yonder. And he wants the stuff.
Oh, he wants the stuff.
He wants the stuff. They find this like enchanted bluey glowy what is it? Iron and flint? Steel and flint?
Yeah, glowing flint and steel.
And it creates really big light. Really big light. Yay.
it's nice and blue.
And I tried looking up what this was like in Minecraft terms. Because the people in the game look at this and they say, I've seen an enchanted flint and steel, but it was enchanted with like never break or enchanted with some other thing. I don't know this enchantment. So I looked it up and it turns out this is a Minecraft story mode exclusive moment here. This enchanted flint and steel does not exist in the main game. We're seeing
its own original thing.
Yeah, an original thing. So
I guess that makes sense considering that's how it's sold in this. They're like, oh, I've never seen. I have no idea what this is.
Yeah, it's interesting because compared with that first 4 episode arc, if something like this happened, it would have been like, oh, this is a thing you can do in the game, and this is the story mode recontextualization of why that happens.
Right, and here they're allowed to kind of bring their own new stuff to Minecraft.
Yeah. And Ivor says that this is the key to finding the Eversource, which is an unlimited well of resources. You can just bring anything you want into existence from this source.
Right.
And he wants it. He wants it in a way that is disquieting and makes me think you're going to do bad things with it.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying. I was thinking, like, Ivor, you're, like, part of the team now. We kind of consider you a friend of sorts. Don't be a bad.
Don't test it, bud. I still don't like you. It's just
we'll
we're
throw
not
you
arresting
out at
you.
a moment's notice.
I don't arrest a lot of people I don't like, so you're not special for that.
I do think this episode opens up on a high note with exploring this this temple. I thought this was fun. I haven't played a whole lot of Minecraft, but this gave me some good Minecrafty vibes of like digging down and exploring just what's down there.
Yeah. Minecraft is interesting, right? Because like this kind of temple just existing in the wild, I think it's something that can happen now in Minecraft, but for a while you were only going to get natural phenomena, like in the randomized seed of Minecraft. So for this temple to just be out there is weird, and Ivor insists that this is because it was built by the old builders who were around even before the Order of the Stone.
That's a long time.
Well, it is. Is it? we talked before. the Order of the Stone feel like they're this like ancient backstory to this world. But then you meet Gabriel and he's like 40?
Yeah, maybe like
Maybe 50?
early mid 40s.
Yeah. Like Ivor he's saying that he was one of the Order of the Stone. Like, you can't say that it's that old if it's
Yeah, but before that might be like 50 years.
Well, it's interesting to have a fantasy world that is this young, right?
Right.
Because most fantasy worlds have such layered backstories because that's what people like to do with fantasy.
Mm-hmm. I mean, who knows? Maybe it was like a long time before the Old Order of the Stone. Maybe they never really specify how long before them these old builders were. I mean, they never specify how long before the Order of the Stone these old builders were. It could have been like a long time even before that. They kind of leave it open.
It would be interesting to me if it was only like one lifetime ago. If it was only like one lifetime ago and that's just how fast time moves in Minecraft, or at the very least it contextualizes how recently everything started, which is why all of the towns, considering how fast you can build a building, how fast you can build a bridge, the fact that the towns are so light and so minimally constructed kind of implies that there has not been that much time on Earth yet.
Yeah.
Interesting stuff. We'll probably never know the answer to that question.
Oh, probably not.
Probably not. We might not.
I think it's
hear
interesting
that much more
enough.
about the
I
old
liked
builders.
exploring this old
I have no
hidden
idea.
temple.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah. So they go back. Oh no, sorry. Before that, Aiden comes back. Remember Aiden from a billion years ago?
Barely. Is when he showed up, I was like, oh yeah, kind of.
Yeah, Lucas used to be in a gang. We forget about that.
Yeah.
But he did. It was called Lucas and the Ocelots. And the Ocelots have become much shittier. Lucas is a good friend of yours now. The Ocelots still suck and actually suck worse. And Aiden leads them. Now it's they're not even the Ocelots anymore. They're called Aiden and the Blaze Rods.
The Blaze Rods.
So the Blaze Rods are a Minecraft item, but I tell you, Ocelots are better.
I agree. I liked looking at the back of their coats and thinking I was seeing Conker.
Yeah, that was good. That was a feature.
That made me feel good about myself.
Yeah. So yeah, they try to like rob you at knife point. And
that's true. He just says, "Yeah, hand it over. I got a freaking sword."
Yeah, but you have a freaking sword and you're better. And then he brings up this like weird argument that I can't tell how much the writers want me to take it seriously. It's like, you think that you're so cool just because you saved the world, but now you're not even just saving the world and taking credit. You're taking all the cool stuff?
Yeah, I was like, fuck you. We did you not see that opening? All the shit we went through to get this?
Yeah, like,
we earned this.
This has nothing to do with who we are. That we just went through this temple. You don't need nepotism for temple raiding, you know?
Yeah.
They can go ahead and find their own temple. Yeah,
we are the ones who got here before you, and we earned this cool treasure, so boo-hoo.
So you go back to town, and you find that Ivor has built a house in town. This is one of the funniest things to me. He's built a house that spits lava out, and it's like the skull on stilts. And every one of the townspeople, they're just screaming about it. And you have to make the call of whether to kick Ivor and his house out, or to let him build this house that is flowing lava all over town.
Yeah, and his thing is, like, he doesn't even bring up the lava. He's just like, it's my right to have a house too.
Yeah, this is classic Telltale choose your own bullshit, where you have to choose between saying, I don't think you should have a house, and you are allowed to spill lava all over the town square.
Yeah, just tell them you can't have this house. Just get rid of the lava. Nope, it's one or the other.
Yeah, in a game
and
that
you
I was
tell-
taking
you
more
tell-
seriously, I'd be mad about this, but this is just silly.
Yeah, and you tell everyone else to tear it down.
Well, you have the choice, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I assume that
I
we
did.
both told him to take it down.
Yeah, because it's like, look, Ivor, it's cool that you want a house, but you are like so not seeing what the issue is with this that just get rid of it.
Yeah, it's wild that you think this is what we're talking about.
Yeah, he's just like, what? I get
now
to live
I
here
don't get
too?
to live here. Not what we're saying, dude.
Yeah, and you know what? If you're choosing to take this way, then no, you don't get to have a house. Sorry. You blew your chance.
If house means light other people's houses on fire to you, then you can't have that.
You know what? I was thinking while playing this episode, not only is it a more interesting premise, I do think the writing is stronger in this episode too. I think so. I got some pretty good laughs throughout. I think they just stepped up their game with the story just all around.
Yeah, I wrote down here in my notes, Libertarian Ivor's shitty house. Because if you say, yeah, everyone take it down, we got to take this house down, Ivor says, ooh, slippery slope, Jesse. Now what kind of rules will you make if you're making all the rules?
What a fucker.
Slippery slope.
What a thing to say to someone who does anything that inconveniences you.
Yeah. Next thing you know, you're going to be coming around with the Gestapo.
He's like going around like pushing people off cliffs. Oh, typical Jesse, making sure everyone has to follow his rules.
Yeah. Suddenly no one can push someone off of a cliff.
This is who you chose to be your leader, everybody.
It reminds me of that Libertarian Party conference that sometimes gets shared around on YouTube or something, where it's it's a row of primary candidates for the Libertarian Party for president. They were asked, do you think that people should be required to have a driver's license in order to drive a car? And they just went one after the other down this line of people. And they were like, absolutely not. Are you kidding me? First, I'm going to have a license to drive a car. And next, I have a license to make myself a sandwich on a Sunday morning. Come on. And then Gary Johnson.
That's quite a leap.
Gary Johnson, who ends up getting the nomination for the primary, he says, I'd like to see some competence demonstrated that you do know how to drive a car. And then everyone boos him. The whole audience boos him.
Oh, man.
Ivor would fit right in.
That's our Ivor.
Yeah.
That's true. All of a sudden, I have to be able to drive in order to drive.
Yeah, I mean, this is the same guy who unleashed the Wither Storm at the beginning of this season and refused to take responsibility for that.
And now he thinks he can have a house that dumps lava wherever he wants.
Yeah, like he's absolutely not clear with the idea of if you hurt other people, you can't hurt other people. You just don't do it.
Yeah, he thinks if I want to, I should be able to.
The old, your freedom to swing your fist ends at another person's face does not apply for Ivor. He does not run his life in that way.
Oh, man. You know what? I think this is the most clear they've ever been on Ivor's character. I love
Yeah.
I love seeing this different side when it's not like a big, like, destroy the world sort of situation. You can see how he's shitty in other ways.
Yeah, because in the Witherstorm arc, every aspect of it was meant to be this like fantasy story. And there's
Right.
a lot of fantastical elements in what we go through in this episode, but I think it's pulling a lot more from like general cartoon trope storytelling rather than fantasy. And for what
Right.
they're doing with that, for the tone they're trying to take and for the world they're building and for the writing style of the characters, I think it works better.
Agreed. I totally agree.
Yeah, I mean,
And
I like
this
the fantasy,
is a sign of
but
things,
yeah.
if this is a sign of things to come with the future episodes, I am looking forward to them a little more than I was.
Yeah, I can't tell if it is, because I can imagine that maybe they were feeling, oh, this is
Just a one-off.
leading into the Adventure Pass. And the Adventure Pass is like DLC. DLC can be silly, and then Season 2 is going to be serious.
Right.
Or, I mean, not serious. Season 1 wasn't serious, but it was, more epic in nature, fantastical.
More a story you should take seriously in this world.
Yeah. That said, there is a very epic, kind of seriously presented moment later in this episode that I think actually blows every similarly epic, seriously presented moment from the past 4 episodes out of the water.
Yeah, totally. I definitely agree.
Yeah. So, like, even this episode is sillier, but, like, even in the more serious aspects of it, is better at being more serious than the other ones. I think it's just a strong episode.
Yeah, I think this episode also gave me the strongest comparison to the Walking Dead vibes, but like in a good way that worked with it. I just saw some parallels. Like when you're in the temple and you're trying to escape, it reminded me of the part where you're escaping Crawford and you have to
Yeah.
You
the
gotta,
bell tower.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, the part at the end of the episode reminded me of in episode 2 of The Walking Dead season 1 with when you're going in the house to save Katja from what's her name? Whose name I forget.
I couldn't tell you.
But you know the scene I'm talking about.
Yeah,
right?
the dairy farmer woman.
Yeah, and it's like don't come over here out in the rain.
Don't come over here. Oh, I think I want to go over there.
Doesn't want me to go over there? I think I will.
So Ivor tells them that the Eversource is probably also in this temple. So they got to go back to it. And he's psyched on it. He shows up in like the Order of the Stone's new digs. And they show that they dwell on it even, that Jesse has framed the pork cutlet.
Yeah.
which is weird because there's a mausoleum to Reuben outside.
Yeah, why isn't it in there?
It should be buried in there. I mean, why build a mausoleum? That's just a waste of marble if it's not a tomb.
Yeah, that takes up a whole lot of space.
It's a lot of space. Yeah, it's bad city planning to allow that to happen.
Right.
If you're just going to frame him on the wall, that's going to smell so bad. It's going to be terrible.
Just keep it locked away in that building.
Yeah, oh man. Can you imagine watching the maggots grow out of that pork cutlet through the glass?
This sucks.
Through
Let's talk about something else.
Because it's transparent. You can see it's like pressed against it. Oh, it's like a petri dish. Ugh.
Thank you all for listening to Telling the Tale.
So they go back to the temple, and this time they go upstairs, and they find out that there is a weird looking portal that if you strike the enchanted flint at it, it just glows and you can go in it. And right at this moment, Aiden shows up, tries to get the flint, but then he just goes in the portal with the other blaze rods first, and you go after him.
Yeah.
So this portal, I looked up this portal as well to try to find out, is this an established Minecraft lore thing? And
is it?
It is not technically, no. But based on what we see at the end of this episode, we find another one of these same portals, and I guess we can just talk about this right now. You go into this hall, you go through it, and then you end up in this hall with like a big long row of these portals, and it almost feels like you're in the multiverse, right? Like you're
right.
Between
lots
the
of doors
universes in a multiverse.
Yeah, you're in a hallway with lots of doors.
So the concept of this exists in Minecraft. This is server hopping. This is going from one server to a different server.
Yeah, I got that too. They specifically say like, "Oh, we're in like some sort of different world."
Yeah, I was curious if there was like an in-game version of this, because they talk about the Nether and the End and the Far Lands. All of those things exist as places in like a regular Minecraft server. But now we're talking about like the same thing again, like going to a different server that started the same way that yours started.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting. They end up just on a floating island in a completely void-filled blue featureless sky.
Yeah, well, we should say that the reason they go through this portal is because Aiden and his gang stole their glowy items that they were using.
Yeah.
And just took them. They left.
They just took them and went through. They had to stop Aiden.
Yeah. This episode is very light on Olivia and Axel.
Yeah, they didn't show up for the turnaround when they went back to the temple.
Yeah, and they had to immediately follow these guys to the portal, so they get left behind.
Yeah, who like the party this week is Jesse, of course, Ivor's there, Petra and Lucas.
What a fun group. Yeah,
Petra is an interesting one to have come. She doesn't really do that much this episode. Lucas, I understand why he's here. He's here to be like a foil to Aiden and a relationship with the old gang. And also, I thought they were going to say that maybe Milo, a character that we'll meet later, was his dad. But I was wrong.
Right. I guess Petra's just there to have some muscle.
Yeah, she's in there. She's just a member
fills
of the party.
role. Yeah, she's not really a factor in the story, but she's still cool to have around.
Well, the reason she's here, and I kind of know this ahead of time. Maybe I shouldn't say this because this is light spoilers. I don't know. What do you think?
Spoiler warning, everybody.
Spoiler warning. But okay, so I went on the wiki to look at this episode, and I inadvertently did not try to find this out, but found out this is the last time in season 1 that you see Olivia and Axel at all.
Oh, geez.
They don't show up for the adventure pass, yeah.
I guess that makes sense considering, you're the party who went through the door. On one hand, that's a little disappointing, but on the other, I guess I get it. In the last season thing, the cast, I don't want to say the cast got like bloated, but the number did start going up, so it's probably better to just take a handful and focus on them.
Yeah, and Axel and Olivia, like, I like them. I like Axel a lot still. But they just don't do anything in a way that is significantly different from Jesse. In the way that Lucas really has a backstory and Petra had a backstory. And now Ivor's here too. So you have to have him. And now you can't just get rid of Ivor. The Adventure Pass will be this 4. It'll be these 4 people.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So they go through the portal. They end up on this very small circular island just in the middle of the sky with nothing around. This is horrifying to me. This is just a horrifying premise.
Just being on a little island?
Yeah, because they didn't go through a portal and end up at another portal. They went through a portal and were spit out on this island. And there's no way off.
Yeah, imagine if that happened to you.
Yeah, in not Minecraft.
Yeah, and it's not like there was a portal behind them to just go back through. Like, they were just left there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wouldn't want to do that.
No. So they look over one of the sides and eventually find that there's like this sky city in the distance. And they break down the whole island until there's like one square they can all stand on. And then use all the dirt they just got to make a bridge to this island.
Yeah, also Ivor builds another lava skull.
Yeah. It's fun because while you're doing it, you're just like mashing A or X on my controller to like really quickly build the bridge as fast as possible. And then at one point, Ivor just like, he just builds something up for a second. And you're like, wait, what was that? And then it shows that he just built a skull hanging out of the side. Ivor sucks, but now I like that.
Yeah. He sucks in a good way rather than just sucking in a bad way.
He is more yelly now, which I don't like.
Well, he's excited. He's so excited.
Yeah. Yeah. He's so excited.
Yeah, I can give him this.
I love this Sky City.
Yeah, and so do they. So do our group. They think it looks very cool.
It looks very cool. And it's like this weird... I wonder if this was inspired by BioShock Infinite. It's this weird, like, fascist sort of Sky City utopia kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
My only exposure to BioShock Infinite is it has a stage in PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. Is it like that?
It's like the stage, yeah.
Cool. Cool.
Yeah, I mean, yes. It's exactly like it.
Awesome.
I knew that game had original BioShock stuff. I didn't know it had Infinite stuff.
Yeah, so you play as Big Daddy, but the level's based on BioShock Infinite.
That's cool. You know, I don't like that game, but I think the
like
aesthetic
it, but I get it.
No, I mean BioShock Infinite. I do not like BioShock Infinite. But the aesthetic of BioShock Infinite, like the art choice they went with, that's a cool aesthetic. That's interesting to look at.
Right. I kind of, in general, like the concept of Skytown, so that and this in Minecraft,
yeah.
I think they're cool ideas.
You slowly glean the idea that no one in this town is allowed to build, and builders are criminals.
Right, and that means you, because you just built a bridge.
Yeah, criminals. To be thrown off the side of the city into the deep blue void for evermore.
This I didn't really like. Not in a way where I felt like it was bad writing, but it just, like, it's in a way where you're supposed to not like it. Like, they're very unforgiving of these people for not knowing, first of all, that building is illegal.
Yeah.
But then they still get punished. They get thrown in prison.
Yeah. Well, half of them get thrown in prison, right?
Yeah.
Or that was in what happened for me. Where... Yeah, so the founder comes out. She's dressed like Cleopatra. And the founder is this woman who is the only person who's allowed to build. Or she can grant other people licenses to build just a little stuff. A few things.
Yeah.
Here and there for good reason and with very little regularity.
Right.
She's saying no one's allowed to build. Ain't nobody building around here.
I'm the only one who builds.
And then, like, it's revealed that Aiden is sort of her Iago in that moment. He's trying to twist her ear to make her think that Jesse's this big bad criminal, even though he probably built a very similar bridge just moments before.
Right. What a shit sucker Aiden is. They do a good job of really making you just hate this guy.
Yeah. Aiden's going crazy.
Yeah, he's out of his gourd. He's like going full supervillain.
Yeah, he really is. And then you find this innkeeper named Milo who, like, takes you in. And he reveals he's got this underground building club that's sort of like a 1920s speakeasy of people who just want to get drunk in private.
Yeah.
And they devise a plan to break into the founder's palace. They do that. They find the Eversource, which is a duck or a chicken with a crown that just poops eggs for every kind of enemy, and then they get the building materials from killing the enemies.
Right.
Great.
I like, yeah, this is another thing that ties into, like, this is a good way of making this feel like a Minecraft story. I just think everything they do in this episode just does a much better job of selling this world on its own merits.
I just love the idea that this Sky City happens to be where all these people spawned, and it was just a random circumstance of, yeah, for some reason, all the people in this server spawned really high up.
Yeah.
And that's the end of that conversation. They
Right.
never saw the ground.
They just think there's nothing down there.
Yeah, I guess spoilers, there is ground down there. It's just a very far
Right.
way down. So they can't see it.
I mean, I guess I get it. That's a long way.
It is a long way. You'd have to be pretty far up before you can't see the ground.
Yeah, and so it turns out they can, like, later on, it turns out they can just fall down here. Like, they get tossed overboard off the island,
Mm-hmm.
and
Well, they can fall
just
down
fall in the
because
water.
there's water. But, like, if they don't
Yeah.
aim for the water, they do not live.
Yeah, hey, remember last week when you were saying, oh yeah, you can't just, like, move in the air to get into the water to save yourself when Ruben fell and didn't do that?
I mean, yeah, I don't know.
Maybe Ruben should have done what you do here and fall into the water, and then he would still be alive.
Yeah, well, he does have pig-level intelligence, which is less.
That's true. I was overestimating him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I'm the asshole.
In real life, you can't air strafe, so I don't know how much I'm supposed to believe that you can in this video game world.
Right. Well, it turns out you can.
I guess it turns out you can.
I'm sorry. That was a whole thing we did.
So the founder shows up with Aiden. There's like this fight that ensues. The founder's really mad at you at first, but then Aiden says, "No, actually, they're right. I'm gonna take the Eversource now."
What a dick.
The founder is hanging on the side of the building, about to fall down into the great void, while Lucas is fighting with Aiden and needing to make a choice in that moment. Do you save the founder or do you help Lucas fight Aiden?
Who did you pick?
Founder.
Yeah, obviously. It sounds like we made like all of the same choices.
Yeah, that's like the motto of this podcast, huh?
Yeah, sorry everyone.
Sorry everyone. This could be done better. But yeah,
but we're choosing not to.
I trust Lucas to be able to fight.
Yeah, exactly.
And also this is like his fight. It's his friend Aiden.
Yeah, like he's able to handle himself. She's fucking dangling off an island. Like obviously save her.
Yeah, I think it might turn out that whatever you do at all three of you are just going to end up falling off.
I mean, that is what happens, isn't it?
Well, I don't know what happens if you choose to help Lucas, but I assume either way,
the same thing
all
would
three
happen.
Just fall off.
Yeah.
Maybe Lucas doesn't. I don't know.
Maybe Lucas flies away like a bird.
I love it.
That's so great for him.
So the founder is really mean to you for a bit, which is fun.
Yeah, that's great.
While you're both falling, she's still mad at you. She calls you a criminal. I wrote down in my notes, save the founder, Aiden is a cuck. And we fell into a lake. And we found out there's water below, so we can land into the water.
There's water and there's a whole land.
There's a whole land down there. Then we just built a big old tower back up, one block at a time.
That's fun. That was fun doing a whole tower.
Yeah, that was fun. And when we went back up there, when we finally climbed all the way back up, we found that Aiden has just made an absolute Armageddon of this once beautiful town.
Yeah, it didn't even seem like that much time passed, but boy, did things go to shit.
It was enough time.
Yeah.
He's used the Eversource, instead of getting the resources from the animals, or like killing the beasts one at a time, he's just throwing these monsters around for no reason, discernibly.
Yeah, it's not like he's like, oh, I'm gonna be the new ruler of this place. It seems like he just wants to destroy it all.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't
plan.
I don't understand what they're going for with, like, what are the other Blaze Rods thinking when they're smiling menacingly, throwing eggs on fire that hatch into ghasts and creepers just all over town for no reason?
If I were to guess, I would think they're just thinking, well, Aiden says to do it, so I'm sure he knows what he's doing.
This is going to be so good when I find out why we're doing this.
I bet this is going to have a real good payoff.
Yeah, so, at this point, you meet back up with Ivor, who offers you one of 3 potions in order to get into the palace.
Which one did you take?
Speed.
Ooh, speed. I took jumping.
Cool. What happened for you?
He jumps up in through the roof.
Oh, cool.
What about you? I'm guessing he runs fast.
Yeah, so Jessie says, gotta go fast. Literally, she says that. And runs up to the 2 blaze rods, like, in the doorway. And sort of Quicksilver from X-Men punches them in slow-mo really, really fast. Just in the, right in the stummy.
So for me, Jesse never even hit them. He just jumps in through the roof behind them, and they just don't see him. And he's like, "Heh heh heh, I'm so sneaky."
Cool. Yeah, mine let me punch them, so I'm happy with it.
I guess that was the right choice. But then again, Jesse did say gotta go fast, so maybe you didn't.
Yeah, it's a trade-off. So you see Aiden, like, in the back of this palace on a little walkway where there's one tree and it's raining and there's lightning and there's fire, and he's just standing there and he's just so incredibly mad at you for taking the spotlight in a way that he felt he deserved.
Right.
And there's this,
like, what have you done to get it?
Yeah. There's like this Lady Snowblood Kill Bill Volume 1 style samurai fight between Jesse and Aiden.
Right. Oh, and he attacks Reginald.
Who's Reginald?
Reginald is the guard.
Oh, well, yeah, one of the guards, right? Yeah.
Yeah. How could you forget good old Reginald?
Yeah. All right. Just the cinematography on this moment. They go almost full side scroller for a second, where it's just full profile shot of Jesse walking up to Aiden, and they do this like slow, thuddy, tangible feeling. Just a couple of QuickTime event, it's always QuickTime events, right. Sword clashes, and I thought that was great. I thought it was done really well.
Yeah, this is like the one moment in all of Minecraft story mode that I would say is cool.
Yeah.
Like, not that the rest was bad, but this is the one time where I'm like, oh, this is a cool scene.
Yeah, they aimed for something aesthetically, like a cool visual that somehow was not. Maybe it's just that it's 5 episodes in, so I'm not really like as taken back by the Minecraft aesthetic anymore.
Right.
But they absolutely achieve what they're going for in terms of feeling that epic moment.
Yeah, I agree. It was done very well.
So you win that fight, and you have the choice to either help Aiden up, leave him sitting where he is, or to kick him off the side of the island where there's a lake. He does not.
Right, it's a real rip his head off with Bigby option.
Yeah.
Although I guess he would still live.
What did you do?
I just took him with me. I'm not gonna kill him. Look how pathetic he is in this scene. This is maybe the one part of the episode I don't like is Aiden just like goes back to being a wuss like too fast. Like, I thought he was going to do some sort of, like, he's like, no, please, Jesse, don't hurt me. Oh, I'm so sorry. I thought he was going to, like, pull something afterwards, but he doesn't. He's just, like, actually a wuss.
Dustin, I kicked him off the side.
You kicked him off the side?
So I said, send him off the side. And what Jesse does is grabs him by the shoulders, drags him into the like, waterfall, and lets him flow down the waterfall off the side of the island.
Wow.
It's awesome. It's really good. I had to pause it for a moment to make sure, like, do I want to do this?
Your Jesse's like a cold-blooded... Well, I guess not.
Up till now, she has not been. This is the first thing. I'm just not cool with Aiden. I don't want to hang out with Aiden, and I know there's a lake down there.
Aiden does suck.
And I know the thing is, you definitely will hit the lake if you go down via a waterfall.
Right.
Yeah, that's what they've learned.
So Aiden is, he will be safe.
You have a pretty good idea. He'll be safe.
Yeah, you're like 85% sure.
Yeah, I mean, he might break a couple bones on the impact with the lake, but he should be good.
Yeah, that's better than some people.
Yeah. Some people have no bones.
Yeah. Did you ever think about them, Aiden?
So you clean up the town, and then you go. The town's burning down, so I advise everyone to take the waterfall down.
Yeah, we should probably get out of here.
And once you do that, the founder, whose name is Issa, starts talking about like, hey, we need to rebuild. We need to devise a building plan. And then Milo says, are you kidding? We're going to just do this whole fascist dictatorship again? And you have to choose between socialism and fascism. And what did you do?
What did you choose?
It tricked me. Game tricked me.
Right.
Game went ahead and tricked me. Because if I had my thinking cap on, and I could see through what the dialogue options really meant, I would have said, yeah, Milo's right. Because Milo is right. The founder was really way too controlling over every one of these people's lives. And Milo just wanted to give the power back to the people, let them build what they want to build.
Right.
And now that there's basically infinite resources, you're on the ground again. People just want to use the dirt and rocks in interesting ways. Yeah, just do that. Just do it.
Yeah.
So that I should have sided with Milo, but the way they presented it was, do you want to go with a plan, which is what Issa was saying, or let people do whatever they want, which is what Milo was saying? Like, that's not what they were saying.
Right.
So I was forced to say, I think you're both right. We can do both, which made me feel gross.
Yeah, I went with that because that was what I was thinking. That does just feel right. It's like, yeah, people should be able to build what they want, but also you can just set up like a society and also just do that as well.
You can ask people what they want to do and then plan for that, and then that can be the plan.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's the way you're doing it at home. Like, you still have like rules, you still have a society, but everyone's free to build what they want, at least.
That's what you're doing at home? Is that what you said?
Yeah, in your own place.
Oh, in your own home? Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I tried to... and then they give you, like, a follow-up dialogue thing of, like, hey, you should listen to Milo, or, hey, you should listen to Issa. And at that one, I wasn't going to be tricked again. I said, Issa, you really should listen to Milo, though. Just to throw it back to the person who is correct.
Just to put the ball back in Milo's court.
Yeah. So then you go and find that portal we alluded to earlier on the ground. They think it's going to send them back home, and it doesn't. It sends them to what looks like a server room, like inside a computer. And that's the end of the episode.
Yeah, I thought this episode was good. I still don't want to say it's like one of the amazing end-all be-all Telltale games, but it is like a very noticeable step up from what we've done so far for Minecraft. Yeah,
I think what if the clouds had like a fascist pharaoh in them is fun.
Yeah.
That's a fun concept for a Minecraft.
Agreed.
Can we take this bully that you barely remember from episode 1 and turn him into the main villain of this episode in a more climactic showdown than anything that happened with the Witherstorm? Yeah, and that was cool.
Yeah, I hope they can keep it up. I'm down to see where they take it going forward.
Yeah, I wonder if like each of the next 3 episodes, we'll find out soon, are just going to be one-offs like this in their own servers and have a very tenuous relationship between them, between like Petra, Ivor, and Lucas.
I wouldn't mind that. I'd be down just like an extra episode. Like, it's still an arc, but each episode is kind of its own story.
Yeah, if they found out like a better writing strategy that works better for more episodic kinds of stories where they can finish a story in one episode like they just did, but then have things that go between the episodes as well. I'm glad they're using it, because the 4-episode arc that just happened, I don't think it was nearly as strong. There were high points. It wasn't terrible. Episodes 2 and 3 we didn't like that much at all, but like episode 1 and 4 were fine, and they brought a story into fruition. But if you can do a much more condensed version of that can talk about like different kinds of things in just one episode, I'm in for it. That's great.
Yeah, might be a good way to continue going forward. I am very interested in seeing like if they can keep it up from here, or if it'll just play out like the other Minecraft episodes. But I guess I'm glad we even got this one that's good.
Yeah, in retrospect, we should have done episodes 1, 2, 3, and 4 as one episode, and then these next 4 each of their own episode. But it's what they say about retrospect. You don't see it at the time.
They do see that, yeah.
Yeah, they say it all the time.
You don't see it at the time, Grandma always said.
Anything else you want to talk about with this episode before we head into our segments?
Not really. I mean, I praised it. I gave it a good review. I gave it a good note of recommendation.
I have a good little quote here. Not a quote. I didn't write it down exactly, but early in the episode, in that temple at the very beginning, Axel brings up that he thought he wouldn't be cool enough or smart enough to be in the Order, and he's just happy to be around. I thought that was just a nice little thing to throw in there. I didn't think of him as a self-conscious person.
Yeah, if anything, he kind of came across as being pretty sure of the things he's saying. But I like that. I like that we get some inner Axel thoughts.
Yeah, that seemed more like a Lucas or Olivia line, but I like that coming from Axel, because that is how self-confidence manifests or doesn't manifest. You never know if the person you're talking to has imposter syndrome or feels like they belong where they are.
Yeah, I actually wrote down a quote that I liked from Axel. It's when Aiden's there trying to get you to give him your shit. Mm-hmm. Axel says, "Yeah, we fought monsters and lava and levers for this thing."
Yeah, you did
sure
fight
fought
levers.
them.
Yeah, that's true. That happened.
Yeah, like there weren't like a whole lot that I wrote down, but I am glad this episode had some funnier stuff I was able to latch on to.
So, who's your weekly guy?
Ivor.
Okay.
He was funny in this episode. I thought he was fun. And I liked being like, "Look, Ivor, I know you were shitty, but look, you're on the team now, man. I consider you a friend right now." Kind of.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, like, you still suck, but, like, he also just made me laugh. I like the shit with his house. I like that.
The house thing is so funny. Yeah.
Yeah. All of a sudden, we can't have lava coming out of our house.
Slippery slope.
But I also liked him getting excited at seeing all this. It was cool seeing, like, a different side to Ivor.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was pretty entertained by him this episode. Who's yours this week?
So I've got it between two, and I hope that you can help me choose.
Okay, I would love to help.
Okay, so I've got it between Milo, who I liked, the innkeeper, the socialist, like, beret-wearing rebellion leader.
Right.
Who just has a lot of good ideas and has this very funny backstory of, like, why he set up the rebellion is because he wanted to make a potted plant to start a garden, and he accidentally yeeted it off the side of the island, so they put him in prison for wasting materials. And then he's like, okay, you know what? That was just uncalled for. Rebellion is in order. It's time to rebel. So I liked him, but I think I'm, you know what? Talking it out, I think I'm going to give it to my second choice, who was Aiden.
He really was. I don't think I could give it to Aiden. I don't like how he just, like, immediately wusses out at the end.
You see, I didn't get that. Because I kicked him off the island.
Oh, yeah, you kicked him off. For me, he's just, like, immediately. Like, he's so evil. Like, it seems like it's building up to, oh shit, he's really like losing it. And then as soon as you have him on the ropes, he's like, no, stop, I'm sorry.
Well, I got that, but then I threw him off the island. And it was
Right.
very clear that, like, his sorries were disingenuous. He was just trying to, like... In my playthrough, it came across very much like he was just trying to defend himself. He wasn't sorry. He didn't have a respect plan in order. He was just kind of being a selfish, evil little guy. And
no, he actually was sorry for me. He's just like, after all that, he's like actually like, oh hey, Jesse, sorry about all that shit. I really I did some things I regret. I won't try to compete with you anymore.
Wow.
And I just felt like there wasn't a good reason for it, really.
Okay,
other than,
yeah,
like,
I'm glad I didn't get that.
Yeah, it just seemed like you almost lost, and because of that, now you're sorry.
Yeah, if you lost, you would have been so sorry.
Yeah, you know what? I would have bought it more if he wasn't sorry. If he was just like trying to be shitty and conniving and get out of it, and then he runs off like, "We'll meet again, Jesse." Then I would have been like, okay, at least that adds up. Here, it's just like he's like so evil, and then all of a sudden he's not, and he regrets his actions for no reason. Like, he doesn't like see what his actions have brought onto the town or anything. He's just like, all of a sudden, like, hey, I did some shitty stuff back there. I just want you to know I'm sorry.
So when the Sky People go to the ground, in mind they arrest the Blaze Rods. Do you not get that?
It seemed...
They, like, handcuff them and walk them to what they're going to build to be a prison.
Yeah, I think they did in mind, but also Jesse tells him, like, hey, Aiden, why don't you stay here and help these people out? And Aiden's like, yeah, okay.
Oh, that doesn't happen. They're, like, walking the Blaze Rods away, and Aiden gives this sneer to Jesse. Like,
I guess that makes sense for you.
Put me in prison just for destroying an entire civilization.
I guess it's because you pushed him off.
Yeah.
I guess because I saved him and just took him with us. I guess he's like, hey, yeah, I was pretty shitty back there.
I guess that's the danger with choosing your own adventure in these kinds of stories, where certain aspects of the story, I think, genuinely do flow a lot better based on certain choices sometimes.
Yeah.
It can't all be player choice for all things and end up equally good in every way that it can go down.
Yeah, and like I feel like I would have been fine with it if they like showed a reason for Aiden to feel differently.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but they just don't. He's just all of a sudden like that. So, but because it played out differently for you, I can see you feeling stronger about Aiden.
Yeah, I think he's my weekly guy.
Okay.
Although,
I'll
Ivor's house gives him some competition too. just the house.
Yeah. I do agree with you that Ivor's still shitty, but in a way that I like. It adds a fun dynamic to the group. And it's not like anyone else in the group likes him either. Petra's like had it with this guy. And that just makes it funnier that he's doing shit like this.
Golden moment.
I guess just the scene where you take on Aiden at the end. I totally agree that like the way it's framed, it just really sells the intensity of the scene.
Yeah, definitely mine too. The slow walk to Aiden in the rain, I think they turn off the music entirely for that moment.
Yeah.
It's done well. It feels like a samurai movie in a way that I didn't think Minecraft was possible to feel like.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. We did talk about that one though, so choice cut. Mine is kicking Aiden off or not.
Ooh. Yeah, I can see how that would make a good choice for you.
I was glad to be able to do it.
I went with choosing to destroy Ivor's house.
Yeah.
Well, it's because like I felt very strongly about my choice, but also I was like, well, he's also like kind of attempting to be like a good citizen. He's just doing it really badly.
Just build a house that doesn't hurt other people. It's not...
It's so easy to just get rid of the lava part.
My house doesn't spill lava anywhere.
Yeah, but the thing is that it's not just him, because it's not like Jesse says, just get rid of the lava, man.
Yeah.
Jesse's the one who says, all right, everybody in town, tear it down.
I mean, that's kind of why I don't like the choice, because at the end of the day, I can't say what I want to say, which is like, just, can you make it, the lava part wool? Can you make it dyed wool? And it just looks like lava? Like, what's up with... Ivor, what's up?
I get it. I just give it because it's funny.
Yeah.
But also, I will say, this is maybe the first episode in the whole season so far where I like felt that strongly about any of the choices at all. Like, it felt like the choices in this one felt more up to snuff with other Telltale games where, like, I could feel... Yeah, like, you know, there's still some silly stuff with them, but, like, I could feel like, oh, these choices feel like they could actually have consequences going forward. And I feel like it was rare to get that in the first 4 episodes.
It's a little Weenie Hut Jr. in terms of, like, still... how they want you to feel about these major choices. But, yeah, it's getting there. It's getting to more interesting things.
Yeah, you can feel that you actually care about the choices for once.
Definitely my favorite set piece in the whole season.
Yeah,
the Sky Town.
Just an improvement all around. Good job.
Good job.
I hope they can keep it up.
Yeah, you should get back together. Make an expanse.
Yeah, maybe we'll see what's left of them.
We'll see. Well, that's been our episode, Dustin. I'm so glad to have been able to talk with you this week.
This was a good one. This was like nice and easy breezy.
So, reminder. Did we talk about this at the beginning of the episode already?
I don't think we talked about our plans.
Okay, so not a reminder, just new information then. We are going to take a 2-week break after this episode.
Right.
And when we come back, we're going to be covering Minecraft episodes 6, 7, and 8 all in one go, finishing off season 1 and doing all of the Adventure Pass at once in one jam-packed jumbo episode.
I can't McFlippin' wait.
I can't McFlippin' wait either. It just made sense to do. Dustin's traveling. I could use the time. So
yeah, I'm going to Disneyland and I can't be bothered with Minecraft.
Yeah, but like any good industrious worker, I looked at an opportunity to take a week off and I said, let's turn that into 3 episodes in 2 weeks and be even more industrious than we would have been otherwise.
That's good thinking. That's why they call you Mitchell.
I am nothing if not a laborer.
I've been saying that about you for years, and I'm glad that everyone can finally see it.
Now, when I heard you say it, that you just said Mitchell's nothing.
What? I would never say that.
I've heard it. Okay, so until next time, have a great summer.
Have a great summer, everybody.